Hi everyone. Salesforce admin training, day 24. So today's agenda is, so we'll quickly go through the previous session overview and we'll talk about the multiple record sharing use cases. And then we'll talk about the automated sharing rules. And what are the sharing rules? We have it. And what are the navigation steps to create a sharing rule? And then we'll see the requirement, sharing rule mechanism, and then we'll talk about the Apex sharing. And finally, we'll have a today's interview questions. Now, what did we learn in last session?
Manual sharing, properties of manual sharing, public group, navigation steps for public group.
We have discussed about the OWD use cases, public group, navigation step, permission set groups, and then we have discussed about the sharing mechanism. In the sharing mechanism, we have seen the manual sharing through the sharing button, single user sharing, and the multiple user sharing. And then we have seen the public group creation, how to create a public group, and using the public group, how can we share the record. So these are the concept which we have seen. So basically yesterday we have seen on the account object, private, we made it as a private, and sharing feature, we have made it as a sharing mechanism, manual sharing through the sharing button, and through the sharing button, we did it read only, read write access. We can give it to the single user or a multiple user. If it is a multiple user, I can assign the multiple user, or else I can create a public group. Using the public group, we can share the record to the multiple people. We can share the record to the multiple users. Now, today we will see automated sharing. And in the automated sharing, what we are going to do is we are going to implement a sharing rule. We are going to implement a sharing rule. Using the sharing rule, we will see how to share a record with the read access and read write access to the single user or a multiple users through the public group. How can we share the record? So let's take a scenario. Scenario is I have a multiple records are there. Assume that around 100 records are there. When we have 100 records, and if I want to share a record with a user, now let's assume that there is a user. There is a user, and this user is, let's say for example, I'll log in as a Virat Kohli. And remember one more thing, the standard platform user. The standard platform user, only you will see by logging into the standard platform user, you can only see the account and contact. You will not be able to see other objects. You will not be able to see other objects. Now, what you need to do, you need to go to the platform, this profile, Salesforce platform user. And when you go to the Salesforce platform user, you have a clone button here. You have a clone button. You have to clone it and create a new custom profile. New custom profile and give access to that custom profile. Now this one, you will see only few objects we have access. That is account object, and then you have a contact object. You do not have a opportunity. You cannot see opportunity here. And not even custom objects you cannot see. Right? So there is no opportunity here. You cannot see anywhere opportunity. So you will not be able to find the opportunity for the Salesforce platform license. Right? If you want to create an opportunity with the Salesforce platform license, clone this profile. Clone this profile and create a new profile. Assign that profile to the user. When you assign the profile to the user, right? So that time, the new profile, you make a changes, which are the custom objects you wanted to see. Make a changes to those custom object and assign it to the new user. Assign it to the new user. Assign it to the new user. Then you will be able to see. Now, for example, here I have logged in as a Virat Kohli. When I logged in as a Virat Kohli has so many records in the account. So many records he has in the account. Virat Kohli's license is Tata Sales Admin, which is a Salesforce license. Now he is able to see all the accounts. Most of the records the person is able to see. Now, as per the public group, now if I wanted to share these records to the public group, so what I have to do, I have to go to each record and then click on the sharing button. And then once I click on the sharing button, I need to share it to the public group, which is called as a Hyderabad. Public group, which is called as a Hyderabad sales group. Assume that each and every record I need to share it. Each and every record, at least out of 1,000 records, 100 records I need to share it. At least 100 records I need to share it with Hyderabad sales group. Like record 1 sharing to the Hyderabad sales, record 2 sharing to the Hyderabad sales. Similarly, record 4 I'm sharing, record 5 I'm sharing to the Hyderabad sales group, and record 50 I'm sharing to the Hyderabad sales group, and record 100 also I'm sharing to the sales group. Now we are sharing the multiple records to the Hyderabad sales group. Now this is a manual effort. Now you have to go to each record and then click on the sharing button, and then you need to share it. Instead of doing this manual effort, we can automate this process. Instead of going to the record 1, record 2, record 3 and clicking on the sharing button and sharing the record. What we can do is we can share this record 1, record 2 to the till the record 100. We can share it to the Hyderabad sales group. We can share it to the Hyderabad sales group. Now, this process, whatever this process is there, going to the each record and then clicking on the sharing button, sharing to the a specific sharing group. Rather than doing for the each record, what we can do is we can do the automated. This process we can implement in the automated process. That means we need to build a automated process at the back end, so that what will happen is whenever the record is meeting the certain criteria, it will automatically assign to the respective group. Right? This is the scenario for the automated sharing. Now, automated sharing concept, the sharing rules are with sharing the record to the users with the manual sharing. If the number of records are more, then we will use, if you go for a manual step, that is a time consuming process. While sharing the record to the users with the manual sharing, if you go with the manual sharing and if there are so many records that you have to share, that is a time consuming task. Now, instead of sharing the each record, what you can do is you can share with group of the team members by using the automated sharing rule. Right? To make a sharing process automated, what we have to do is we can use the sharing rule concept. The sharing rules are used to share the records to the required public group roles and subordinates. We know the public group. You can share the record with the public group. You can share the record with the roles. You can share the record with roles and subordinates. Automatically based on the certain conditions. Now, sharing rule will always fire after update the record inside the object. Sharing rule always fire after insert and after update the record inside the object. So we can add one or more sharing rule on a single object. We can share the single record, we can share the multiple record, right? In the single object, you can share a single record or a multiple record based on the sharing rule. At a time, you can share a more than one record to the user. More than one record, more than one user, you can share the record. Take a notes of it.
Ma'am,
Yes,
this sharing option is not available in the contact object. Ma'am.
sharing.
This sharing option
Mhm.
is not available in the contact object. Is it?
Yes. Why it is not available on the contract?
So in my org, it is not showing.
You are saying contact or contract?
Contact.
It is not available on the contact. The reason is, now if you go here, contact. Now let me open one of the record. All contacts, let's open one of them, Ajay. Now let's say here, I'm going to click on this. You cannot see because contacts are the customer information. We never share the customer information to the other person. This is customer personal information, like customer phone number, customer email ID, right? Customer first name, last name, those are the details we are sharing it, right? So when we are sharing, we cannot share those details, right? You can share the lead details, you can share the opportunity details, you can share the lead product details, but contact you cannot share.
So when we share the account record,
Account
so,
is a business.
yeah, no, that respective contact details also the person able to see, ma'am.
No. Now there is a specification, you will get it. Do you wanted to see the, when you share the account, what will it will ask? It will ask the case and opportunity.
Yeah, here they were not
But it will
showing
not
any
ask the
contact.
contact.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so contact will not be shared. Contact is a personal information about the customer.
Just my doubt is, but
Sorry?
in the related list, it will not show any contact details, no?
No.
Okay.
Taking the notes of it. Now let's move on. Now the sharing rule. I wanted to create a sharing rule. If I wanted to create a sharing rule, there are two type of sharing rules are there. There are two type of sharing rules. Sharing rules are divided into two types. Why it is divided into two types? Because whenever the record is created, let's go to the lead record. Whenever the lead record is created, record assigned to the owner. It is assigned to the owner. There is a owner is available here. So lead is assigned to the owner. So do you want to share a record based on the owner? Or do you want to share the record based on the certain criteria? Based on certain criteria. So that's the reason sharing rule is divided into two types. Two types. The first one is owner-based sharing rule. Owner-based sharing rule. And the second one is criteria-based sharing rule. Second one is criteria-based sharing rule. Criteria-based sharing rule. Right? Two types of the sharing rule. Owner-based is nothing but based on the owner. Whoever is the lead owner is there. The record owner is there. Based on the record owner, we will share the record to the associated group. Criteria-based sharing rule is nothing but based on the certain conditions. Based on the certain conditions, we are going to share the record to the users or a different members. Take a notes of it. Done, taking the notes. Okay. Now, two types of sharing rules. Now, let's see how to create a sharing rule in the Salesforce. In order to create a sharing rule, go to the setup, search for a sharing settings. Now, yesterday also we were searching for a sharing setting. For what we are searching for a sharing setting?
OWD.
Manual sharing.
Not manual sharing,
OWD.
OWD.
OWD, yeah.
For OWD, we were searching for a sharing settings. In the same option, we have a option called sharing rule. If you scroll down, you will see the sharing rule. Now let's go to our org. So let's go to this is logout as a Virat Kohli. Now here object manager and home, setup and search for a sharing settings. Search for sharing settings. Click on this sharing settings. Now here select the object. Now here on top of it, we have a OWD options are available, which we were working yesterday or day before yesterday, changing the account to private. Now if you scroll down, you will be able to see the sharing rules. You will be able to see the sharing rules, lead sharing rule, account sharing rule. It's all depending on the object name and the sharing rule. So how you will be able to see the sharing rule, object name and the sharing rule.
लेकिन 9 बजे तक बना दो सर या सही में
lead object name and then sharing rule, right? So here also account is the object and then you have a sharing rule, object and sharing rule. Like this, whatever the objects you have it, except the contact, product, right? Except the contact, product, you will be able to see all the information that is available here. Sharing rule option is available. Sharing rule option is available. Contact, you will not see the contact, and which are the controlled by parent is there. For the controlled by parent, you do not see the sharing rule. Wherever the controlled by is there, controlled by parent, for that you will not be able to see the sharing rule, right? So for example, here I have a sharing rule which is called as a account sharing rule. So set up search for a sharing setting, select the object. If you want a specific, instead of going scroll down, if you want to select a account, select here on top account. What will happen? OWD option and then other settings it is going to show. And then we have a account sharing settings. Account sharing settings. In the account sharing settings. Now, if you click on a new button, let's assume I'm clicking on a new button. When you click on a new button, then it is going to ask us to create a sharing rule. How many steps we have? 5 steps we have. What are those 5 steps? Step 1 is rule name. You need to enter the rule name in the step 1. You need to enter the rule name in the step 1. Step 2 is you need to specify the type. There are 2 types of a sharing rule. One is based on criteria. Second one is based on owner. Now you need to select the rule type. That is the second step. And the third step is which record you wanted to share to whom? Which record you want to share and with the whom you wanted to share. Do you want to share with the public group, roles and subordinate? And here the fourth step is if you want to share with the user, any users you wanted to share it. Right? So based on the owner is which user and which user you wanted to share. Who is the owner is holding the record. If the owner is holding that record, for example, I have a 2 people are there. Let's assume that I have a 2 members. Let's say I have a Bhakti. I have a Bhakti is there. And then we have another person, let's say Manisha. Now, Bhakti is record owner right now. There is a lead is created. Lead is created and lead is assigned to the Bhakti. Lead is assigned to the Bhakti. And then whatever the leads are assigned to Bhakti, I wanted to transfer to Manisha. That means here account owned by member is Bhakti. Account owned by member is Bhakti and transferred to Manisha. So that's the reason we have a 2 steps. If we go with the criteria based, we might not see 2, 3 and 4 steps. You might see only 1 step. And the 5th one is what is the level of access that you wanted to give? What is the level of access you wanted to give? First one is a rule name. What type of a sharing? If it is a owner based, who is the owner of it and whom do we want to share it? And the 5th one is what is the access level? Right? So take a notes of it. Done? Okay. Now let's go ahead and create one of the sharing rule. The requirement it says configure a sharing rule on the account object to share the account record to the Bangalore sales group. If the account record meets, then below the condition. Now, criteria is account rating should be hot, account industry should be finance, account active equal to yes, account customer priority is high. If all these conditions are true, then we are going to automatically share it to the Bangalore sales group. Now, in order to implement this required, what all things are required here? In order to implement this, what all needed? What do we need it in order to implement it? The first thing is that I need to have a public group. Which is a Bangalore sales group. So the first step is need a public group. Public group is Bangalore sales group. Right? First, we need a group which is called as a Bangalore sales group. And we can assign some of the users to the few of the users to be Bangalore sales group. And OWD is already private for the account. Next, I need to go to the second step is I need to go to the sharing settings and then go to the account sharing rule. Then we need to assign the criteria to the account sharing. Now we need to specify the what type of rule it is, owner based or criteria based. Type of rule. What is the type of rule?
Criteria based.
Criteria based sharing rule, right? So let's go ahead and implement this. Now let's go to the Salesforce. The first thing is that I need to check whether do I have a public group or not. Let's say I'll go to the public group. So here we are going to create a Bangalore sales group. Now here I'm going to select the user. Now I can select the subgroup of Hyderabad sales here, right? So yesterday we were discussing about group within the group. Now let's say users. Now I'm going to include, let's say Sirisha I'm going to include, and then I'm going to include the Nirali. Now let's click on save. The first step is completed. Bangalore sales group is created. Now I'll go to the sharing settings. I'll go to the sharing setting. In the sharing settings, I'll select an account here instead of all object. And let's say here I'm going to create a new sharing rule. Let's click on this sharing rule. Now, let's say that I'm going to create a SIC sharing rule. Okay, this is the criteria based. If it is a owner based, you need to check. We need to check owned by the member is who is the owner of the lead, right? So right now we are going with based on the criteria. Whenever you select a based on criteria, your third step is going to change. When you say owner, it is asking by owned by which user. When I say criteria, it is going to display the criteria. And the step 4, step 5 is the same. Only the step 3 is changed based on the selection of in the step 2. Based on the selection in step 2, step 3 is gets changed. Now here criteria, I'm going to specify account rating. Account rating. Now let's see where is the rating. Account rating. Rating equals to, I'm going to select hot. Right? And then here I'm going to select the industry. What are the industry we have? Let's say industry equal to finance. Industry equal to finance. Click on the insert and then we have a active checkbox. Active equals to yes. Now this is also pick list. Whenever you have a pick list field, automatically this binocular will be enabled. When you have a pick list, this gets enabled. If it is a text field, it will not be enabled. Now here I'll say here customer priority. Customer priority is equals to yes, or let's say high. Customer priority is high. Rating should be hot for the account. That means for the whenever the user is creating the account, and while creating the account, if I say rating equal to hot, industry equal to finance, active equal to yes, and customer priority is high, then I wanted to share the record with public group, which is called as a Bangalore sales group. Bangalore sales group. And when I share the record of the account, what should happen to the contract access, opportunity access, and the case access? Opportunity access, case access, and the contract access. Now you can specify read only or a read write. Let's say I'm going to say read write, right? Now if I click on save, for case and opportunity, I'm seeing it here private. Now click on save. Click on save. It is going to take us some time to update the backend logic. Now, as soon as it is created, what will happen here? It is showing the criteria. Criteria is account rating equal to hot and contact industry equal to finance and account active equal to yes and account customer priority equals to high. Now, how this and is added? How this and is added here? Let's go to the edit, refresh. Now let's click on the edit. Whenever we add a criteria here, below one option is available. All add filter logic. Add filter logic. What is this filter logic? Now you click on this filter logic. Filter logic 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 3 and 4. Right, so here by default it is a and condition. By default it is a and condition. In case if you want a or condition, let's say either account could be a rating equal to hot or industry equal to finance. In that case, what you can say or condition. This is simple mathematical expression. 1 or 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4. So what are the true and false? What are the conditions are there? That is a simple calculation of the mathematical expression. Right? 1 or 2 and 3 and 4. Now if I click on save. Okay, let's save this. Now if I click on this save button, here it is saying the account rating equal to hot or account industry equal to finance. And account active equal to yes and account customer priority equal to high. Now for whom we are sharing the record? We are sharing the record to the Bangalore sales group. Bangalore sales group. What is the level of access on the account? It is a read and write. Whereas opportunity is private. If you want to change the opportunity and case, you can change it. Let's assume that I wanted to change the opportunity from private to the, let's say, now let's click on the edit. Now here I'm going to say opportunity is read write and also case is also read write. Click on save. Click on save. Now all will be having a read write opportunity and case. Now let's log in as this user Virat Kohli. Let's say I'm going to create a new account. I'm going to create a new account. Let's go to the client and let's say new, or else I can take the existing one also. But existing one already might be possible that it is already shared. Now I'll create a new one. So let's say client name is sharing rule. Client name is sharing rule. Now here rating should be hot. What are the criteria we have added? Rating should be hot. And the industry should be finance. Industry should be finance. And active checkbox. Active equal to yes. Where is the active checkbox? It will be at the bottom. Now here we do not have a access to the active. Right? Because at the profile level, the active checkbox is read only. Now the first thing is that we need to make a changes to the profile level. Let's log out this. And this is the sales, data sales admin. Let's go to the data sales admin. Now here, go to the profile. In the profile, in the profile, in the profile, now here, let's click on it. Let's go down. Now here we have a account. Click on a view. Now let's click on the active checkboxes. This is the active checkbox. Active checkboxes read only. Click on this edit. And let's change this active checkbox. Enable the edit option, click on is save. Now, how about the customer priority? Customer priority is available. Click on is save. Now, again, I'll log in as a Virat Kohli. Click on in login. You click on in login. Click on this client. Now, I'm going to create a new record. Sharing rule. Now, rating equal to hot. And then industry equal to finance. Industry equal to finance. Active equal to yes. Where is the active checkbox? Here it is. Active equal to yes. And then customer priority. Customer priority is high. Now, if I click on is save, what will happen? The record will be saved and automatically it will be shared with the Bangalore sales team. Bangalore sales team. Now click on this sharing option. Click on this sharing option. How many group of members is it is shared? It is shared with two group of people. One is the person, whoever is the person is created, that person. And the second one is automatically it is shared to the Bangalore sales group. Read write, and the read write. Right? I did not add it here. How it added here? Because we have created the sharing rule. The criteria we have implemented. As soon as the record is created, it is shared with the Bangalore sales group. Now, if I, for example, if you want to click on this sharing, and let's say you wanted to see few more details. You wanted to see few more details of this. Then you can click on this view sharing hierarchy. There is an option which is available here, view sharing hierarchy. When you click on this view sharing hierarchy, click on this view sharing hierarchy. When you click on this view sharing hierarchy, you can see that integration user is a read only, June batch is a full access, and Nirali Mehta is a read write. How we got the read write? Click on here view. When you click on the view, it is going to tell you that account sharing rule, SIC sharing rule. That's what we have implemented. SIC sharing settings, and this sharing settings name is SIC sharing. Right, using this SIC sharing, this got implemented. Now here group is Nirali Mehta is shared as part of the group which is called as a Bangalore sales group. It is shared as part of the account sharing rule, SIC underscore sharing rule. How it is shared? Through the group member. That means public group. Through the public group it is shared. What is the level of access at the client access? Read and write. Read and write. Now it is shared by the Nirali Mehta. Now what I'll do is I'll log in as one of the users. Now, like this, you can identify in the real time if you wanted to know how this record is shared to this user. If you wanted to know how this record is shared to this user, click on the view button. When you click on the view button, you can see that who is the person that is actually shared this record. Is it an automated process? Is it a manual process? Or is it a just updating the record? Where you will be able to identify it here. Right now, it is a sharing through the account access sharing rule, SIC sharing rule. SIC sharing rule. Now you will be knowing that how it is getting shared. Now I'll log out as a Virat Kohli here. Now log in as a this is shared with which person? Bangalore sales, right? So Bangalore sales is part of the Nirali. Let's log in as a Nirali. Let's log in as Nirali and click on the account. Click on the account. Let's say refresh all customers. Now here the one which we have implemented is sharing rule. One which we have implemented is sharing rule. If I go to the detail section, in the detail section it says created by Virat Kohli 10/08/2023 8:23 p.m. Just 5 minutes before it got created. It got created. So this is the record it is created, and now what I want is I wanted to change. Let's assume that I'll say here industry equal to finance and the rating equal to what? Now this record is shared with another user because it is shared with Nirali. How did it shared? Now do I have a edit access? Yes, we have a edit access. I can edit this line and I can make a changes because while sharing the record at the sharing settings, we have given a permission as read write. We have given a permission called read write. Now I'll go to the sharing rule. I'll go to the sharing rule. Let me log out as a Nirali Mehta. Let's say I'm going to log in as a Virat Kohli. When I log in as a Virat Kohli, now here, let's assume that client. Now client is a sharing rule. In the sharing rule, in the related list, I'll say opportunity. Click on the new opportunity. Let's say new sharing opportunity, new sharing opportunity. Close date is, assume the 24th, and then type is new customer, lead source is, assume that web, stage is initial discussion. Now let's click on save. Now what will happen is this record will be automatically shared to the Bangalore sales group or not? Is this record is automatically shared to the Bangalore sales group or not? Now let's click on this. It says 3 users, 3 group of users. Click on edit. Is it sharing the Bangalore sales group? Yes, it is sharing the Bangalore sales group. Similarly, case also, if you create a case, it will be shared to the Bangalore sales group. Why it is sharing the Bangalore sales group? Because whenever we give a account, whenever on the account level, whenever we implement a sharing rule, automatically the opportunity and the case sharing rules will be automatically implemented. Because account, case, contact are account, case, opportunity are linked. Whenever we change the account OWD, then automatically the Salesforce is going to update the settings for the opportunity and setting for the case. Right? So these are the options which are available. Right? So these are the information. Now it is automatically shared by the shared Bangalore sales group. Bangalore sales group. Now if I log in as a Nirali or right, let's log in as Sirisha. Now if I log in as a Sirisha, basically they will have only the client, right? So they cannot see the opportunity. If I open the related list, I cannot see the opportunity because the license which we have is Salesforce platform license. Salesforce platform license. So that's the reason we cannot see. Otherwise, the opportunities are automatically shared. Now, what will happen if the contact I create? If I create a contact, for example, the Virat Kohli is going to create a contact. Virat Kohli is going to create a contact. Now, let's assume that I'll go for a contact and I'll say here Ajay. Now I'm going to create a new contact. New contact. Now the new contact is, let's say, Mrs. First name is Melissa. Let's say first name is colon Melissa. Now let's say client name is let's say account name. So let's click on this. Let's link this client to the sharing group. Now click on save. Click on save. Now what will happen is this contact is shared to the Bangalore sales group or not? Is this contact is shared to the Bangalore sales group or not? Now we do not have a sharing option here. We do not have sharing option. But let me log in as a another user. Now let's log in as Nirali. Now I'll log in as a Nirali. Let's say here clients. Let's go to the sharing rule. Now it is Melissa colon is visible, but it is not able to share. We cannot share it, but related list are able to share the record. Related list able to share the record. Somebody asked a question, right? So contact sharing. I think
Yes, ma'am.
you were asked, right? Or Sumanjali. Okay.
Suma.
So you have asked. So contact, the sharing option is not available, but through the sharing automated sharing. Through the automated sharing, whenever you are sharing it, even manual sharing also same. Whenever you are sharing the account record, the contact case opportunity will be automatically shared. If you give a option, read edit. If you give a option, read edit. If you say private, then it will be different. Clear? Any questions so far on the automated sharing rule? Now, in the automated sharing rule, now for example, if you want to add a multiple records, multiple values, if you want to add multiple values, let's say I'll click on a edit button. I'll click on edit button. Now here I can select a multiple values. Warm, cold also I can select it. Warm, cold also I can select it. But what is the operator here? Operator is equal to. Operator is equal to. Let's say I'm going to say 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now let's click on it, save. Now what happened right now? Account rating equal to cold, hot, warm. Here, what is the option I have? Equal to I have. Equal to I have. Now let me go ahead and implement another account with the same information. That same information I'm going to implement. Let's log in as a Virat Kohli. Now let's say client. Now create a new record. Let's say this is the sharing rule. Sharing rule 1. Now let's say here rating I'm going to specify cold and the type equal to industry finance. Industry equal to finance. And then active equal to yes, customer priority is high. Now click on save. Now what will happen? Now the record gets shared or not? Will it share or not? Will it share the record or not?
Yes, madam, share.
Now if I click on a sharing, now if I click on the edit button, it is going to share the record. The reason is we have an edit option. So this is rating is equal to cold, equal to hot, equal to warm. Let's assume that I'm going to create another record. I'm going to create another record. Now let's say here new sharing rule 2. Sharing rule 2. Now this time I'm going to specify rating equal to warm. Rating warm, industry equal to finance. Industry equal to finance and the active checkbox equal to true. Yes. And then customer priority is high. Click on save button. Now what will happen? Now the rating is 1. Now what will happen? Click on a sharing. Now it is going to share the record. Bangalore, it is sharing the public group. Client access, read, edit, case, read, edit, opportunity, read, edit. It is automatically sharing the record. Whatever the record or whatever we are sharing it, everything can be shared using this. That equal to cold, equal to hot, or equal to warm. Any questions? Irrespective of the OWD, no. How it will work irrespective of the OWD? See, first of all, if I have a OWD equal to private, then only I'll implement the sharing rule. If it is a private, then only I'll go for the sharing rule. If the OWD is a public, everybody should be able to see the record. So I do not need a sharing rule for the public. I do not need sharing rule for the public. So whenever the OWD is a private, then only we need to share the record. Whenever it is a private, then only we need to implement a sharing rule concept. If it is a public, OWD is a public, then I do not need a sharing rule at all, right? So why do we need a sharing rule? It's not required a sharing rule if I have a public. If I have a public, sharing rule is not required. Only it is required when it is a private. When it is private, then only we need it. Any other questions on this sharing, automated sharing rule concept? Now, using the sharing rule, I can share it to the single user or multiple user. Let's assume that the interviewer will ask, there is an interview question, interviewer will ask, now we have a sharing rule. Using the sharing rule, I wanted to share this record to the single user. How do you share it to the single user? How do you share it to the single user? Now I'm going to create another one. Click on the new button. So when I click on the new button, the interviewer will ask, we have a certain criteria are there. Active equal to yes. Whenever is active equal to yes and rating equal to, let's say instead of rating, let's say industry. Industry equal to let's say assume that industry equal to banking. Industry equal to banking, then we wanted to share the record to the single user. How do we share the single user to the single user? How do we share it?
Share with user or role.
Share it with user. We
User
don't have a user here.
role voice system.
Role. Using the role, we can assign it to role can assign it to the multiple users. Role can be assigned to the multiple user, but the question is, we wanted to share the record to the single user. How do you share it? Now, based on the criteria, now they will ask you to share the record to the single user. How do you share it?
Click on sharing button. Only single user I can share, madam.
We need to create a public group. Inside the public group, assign only one user to the public group. And then share the record to the single user. Got it? So whenever you want to share the record to the single user, create a public group. Inside the public group, just assign only one user. And then share the record to this public group here. That is the interview question they will ask you. Now let's say cancel. Click on the cancel button. Now here, that's all. Here one button is there, recalculate. recalculate button is, let's assume that you have implemented a sharing rule. You have implemented a sharing rule after certain time. After certain time, that means you have implemented a sharing rule in the, assume that January 23rd. You have implemented a sharing rule January 23rd. Now, in September or in August, let's assume that in September, they came back, said that, can you update this criteria? What is that criteria needs to be updated here? They said that add one more and condition here. Add one more and condition, account type. In the account, we have a type. In the account, we have a type. So type equal to prospect. Add a one more condition, type equal to prospect. Now, when you add a type equal to prospect, you will add the prospect. But what will happen to the existing record? Now, you have created this criteria in January 23, and in September, we got a one more request to add a one more criteria to here. Now, in between Jan to September, there are so many records might have already created. Assume that some 10,000 records are already created. Now, suddenly, if you change the criteria here in the September, what will happen to the existing records? Whatever the 10,000 records are there, existing records, what will happen to the existing records? Will it be applied or not? What are the latest criteria I have added? Will it apply to the old existing records or only for the new records it will be applied?
Yeah, reports.
Sorry? So
I
say
think new,
Based on the sharing rules logic, it will old record also it will applicable. Ma'am.
So Salesforce, whenever we make a changes to the sharing rule, what will happen is it will automatically apply to the old one and the new records. Both records, it will be recalculated. Based on this, it is going to recalculate. That means Salesforce is going to do the recalculation. Salesforce is going to do the recalculation on the old records as well as the new records. In some scenario, if the recalculation does not happen properly, then what we need to do is we need to click on this recalculate button. We need to click on the recalculate button. If you click on a recalculate, what will happen is all the old records will be recalculated again. Now that's about the automated sharing rule. In the automated sharing rule, we went to the sharing rule and we have implemented the sharing rule by going to the sharing settings, and we have assigned the level of access, read only or a read write, to the single user to the multiple user. Now the next step which we have is Apex sharing. Next one we have a Apex sharing. In the Apex sharing, that means this is a code. Using the business logic, we have to share the record to the single user or a multiple user. That means we need to implement a logic for the Apex sharing. We need to implement a logic for the Apex sharing. Now, what is the reason? Now, I already have a manual sharing. I already have a manual sharing. Automated sharing is also there. What is the purpose? When should I go for a Apex sharing? What is the purpose? When should I go for a Apex sharing? Now let's take a scenario. Now the scenario is whenever we wanted to Now let's assume that there is a page, the visual force page or something is there. Now in this page, I have a record one. This is the first record we are creating it. And there is a field called annual revenue. Field called annual revenue. And then we have a share to. And then we have a share to. When we have a share to, that means this share to is basically, it's a lookup relationship. It is a lookup relationship. Now, when I click on this lookup relationship, this is a lookup relationship. When I click on this lookup relationship, what will happen? It goes to the user record. It goes to the user record and it will pull the one. I need to select the one of the user. I need to select one of the user here and then click on a save button. Now, I need a sharing rule. I need a sharing rule based on the selection of user here. Based on the selection of user, I wanted to share the record to that particular user. Based on the selection of user, I can share the record to the specific user using the Apex. Now, can we implement this logic using the manual sharing and sharing rule? Can I implement this logic? We cannot implement because the reason is user selection is on fly, it is happening. If I have to do manual sharing, now as soon as the user is selected, immediately I want to share the record. Immediately I want to share the record. If you want to go for a manual sharing, you can go for a manual sharing, but it's a lot of time consuming it. You first select the user and then you need to check what is the user here, then go to the sharing button, the same user you need to select it and then you need to share it, right? So based on the selection of user you wanted to share. In this scenario, sharing rule does not work. Sharing rule does not work because we don't know what is which user will be selected here. Which user will be selected here. So sharing rule concept does not work. In that case, what we can do is we have to implement a Apex sharing. Let's say that I'm going to share the record whenever the annual revenue is greater than 50 lakhs and give a read write access. And the annual revenue is less than 50 lakhs, share the record to the read access. This is also another criteria. If you have this kind of a scenario, you have to go for a Apex sharing. Whenever the annual revenue is 50 lakhs and also check who is the share to user. For this user, you need to share the read and write access. If the annual revenue is less than 50 lakhs, whatever the user is shared, for that user, you need to have a read access. Read access. So this is on fly, we need to share the record. That means dynamically during the runtime of the Apex, we need to share the record. Dynamically during the runtime, we need to share the record. Take a note of it. Take a note of it. Okay. Now, so far we have seen the OWD concept for private. We have seen the concept for private, account private, right? Then what are the OWD is there? By setting the account equal to private, we were playing the logging as a CTO, VP, COO, CFO, we are checking the access. So private means whenever the CTO is created the record, only the CEO can see. The others cannot see the record. Whenever we have a OWD is a private, only the person, whoever is the person is created, that person can see, and the person manager can see the record. If the OWD is a public, if the OWD is a public, if the OWD is a public, then in that scenario, if CTO creates a record, if CTO creates a record, COO can see, CFO can see, and CEO can see, everybody can see. But edit access, only CTO and CFO will have a edit access. This CFO and COO will have a read-only access. They will have a read-only access because this is a public read-only access. This is public read-only access. So whenever we have a read-only, the other members can see the record, but they will have a only read-only access. If it is a read-write access, if it is a read-write access, everybody can see the record, whether if it is created by VP or CTO or COO, all the members can see the records of the, whatever the records are there, all the records can be seen. That means public read-only is nothing but if the object OWD has been assigned to public read-only, then what will happen if any of the user creates a record inside the object, then the record will give the visibility to all the users visible. All the users can see in the organization. That means the record owner and the manager will have a full control. That means they can edit, delete, modify, share, whatever they want, they can do it. But other users will have a only read-only access on the record. Whereas public read-write is nothing but if the object OWD is assigned to public read-write, then if any of the users creates a record inside the object, then the record will get the visible to the all the users in the organization. That means the record owner and the manager, the owner manager will have a full access to this, like a view, edit, delete, share. But other users will have access to the read and edit. They cannot delete, they cannot share the record. They cannot delete and they cannot share the record. That means I have a CEO, I have a CEO is there, right? COO is there here. So we have a CFO. And then similarly, we have a COO. Similarly, we have a CTO. Similarly, we have a CTO. Now below this, we have a VP. Now, if I give a public read-write access, if CTO is created the record, CTO and CEO, the manager will have a full access to it. That means they can edit, delete, modify, share the record. But whereas others, CFO, COO, and VP can have a read and edit access. They will have a read and edit access, but they cannot delete, they cannot share the record. They cannot share the record. They cannot delete the record. Deleting record will not be having. That means full access will not be there. Full access will not be there. Now, take a notes of it. Done? Now, sometimes in interview, they will ask the question, what are the different level of data access in Salesforce? What are the different level of data access in Salesforce? Like organization level security, object level security. So we need to say that what are the different securities we have it? Organization level, object level, field level security, record level security. Record level, we have a OWD settings and role hierarchy, manual sharing, automated sharing, Apex sharing. So whenever somebody asks what are the different level of security we have is organization level security, OWD level security, field level security, record level security. If for the record level, what are the record level securities are available? OWD, role hierarchy, manual sharing, automated sharing, sharing role, and then Apex sharing. Take a notes of it. Okay. Now taking notes of interview questions. What is sharing rule? What are the different type of sharing rules? And what is the differences between the manual sharing and automated sharing? And explain the different level of access that can be granted through the sharing rule in Salesforce. And how to share a record to the all the internal users whenever the criteria is met. How do you share all the internal users?
By role,
Identify that. There is an option which is available. Identify it. How to share a record with a single user through the sharing rule. What are the differences between the role hierarchy and sharing rule? Take a notes of it. whatever I have explained today, practice the same thing. That means you need to create a public group, which is the Bangalore sales group, and add the 2 users of Salesforce platform users to the public group. Add the 2 users of the Salesforce platform user to the public group. And then create a sharing rule. Assume that this time sharing rule is, let's say, implement a account sharing rule. Account sharing rule. Implement account sharing rule where the account type equal to prospect or account dot rating equal to industry. Account rating equal to industry and account rating equal to hot. Account dot industry equal to, let's say, banking or account active equal to yes. So this is the criteria. So based on this criteria, share the record to the Bangalore sales group. This is the criteria. Take a notes of it. Now I'll provide you the trial head link. Okay.